And in 3, 2, 1, action. Hello everyone. In today's video, I want to talk to you about my ride challenge. Sai is good at taking notes. I took notes all day long. I'm going to insert any footage, photos that I have left, but some of it's gone missing. Nevertheless, I wanted to talk to you about the Fast Pass system and my 24-hour park day challenge on both parks. Now, I did a challenge at Disneyland Paris. I wanted to ride as many rides that were physically available on the Fast Pass system in the whole day at both parks. Now, normally this Fast Pass system goes for €90. That is the cheapest you'll ever get it, and in that it covers about 16 to 17 rides. Now, like Disney World in Florida, the more busy it is, or the more popular, or the more holidays or school breaks, the price does go up. On the day, I paid €120 to skip the line on every attraction that was available. I'm going to give you some information. So, you do not need to buy the 120 or the 90, even if you get it at the cheapest. You do not need to buy that pass. I am not saying you have to. If you want to, you can, but that is per person. So yes, if you have a family of 4, that's expensive. However, I will give you a hack. There are only 3 or 4 attractions in the whole park that have majorly long queues. So instead of spending your whole money on the whole pass, just buy the single fast pass for those rides, which could work out cheaper for you and your family. Or, for free, rope drop. Disneyland Paris is a lot quieter than other parks such as Disney World, Florida. I'm just going to say it. To course, in the summer break, it is busy. I mean, there was one ride, I think, that had a 70-minute wait while I was there. The most popular ride had about 75-minute wait. Now, I rope dropped it in the morning without a fast pass, and I got on the ride in 10 minutes. But the rest of the day, that ride was 80 minutes long, and I did that for free without buying a fast pass. But we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about the fast pass and the benefits. You could have purchased a single fast pass for just one ride. Let's say your favourite ride at Disneyland Paris has got an 80-minute wait. You can buy the fast pass for every ride and pay around €90. It could be more, which in my case it was. Or you can pay a single fee. Let's say Crush's Coaster was about €15 for the single pass just for that one ride, and then you could spend your money on other things for the rest of the day because you skipped the most busiest line, right? €15, €90. We know which one we're going to go for. Or you could go for free and rope drop. Anyway, we're not here to rant. That's for another video. Right, let's talk. I spent €120, but in that €120, I saved 7 hours of queue time. Let me break it down for you. We have, first up, Crush's Coaster. Coaster, for those who do not know, is very similar to Guardians. In what I mean by Guardians, I mean your vehicle moves in a similar way, but the story is completely different. I was on in 10 minutes and 10 seconds, and I saved in the morning, just after rope drop, 50 minutes. Then we have web slingers, Spider-Man web slingers.
Vibranium du Wakanda ou ce fluide extraterrestre dément. On a les particules de
The wave vision targeting glasses. They'll help you find all those rampant spiders.
This is a sort of shooting ride scenario. Web slingers, shooting ride, think Spider-Man Adventures in California. Very similar. I think it's the same ride if I'm not mistaken. I was on that ride with the fast pass in 5 minutes and I saved 25 minutes. Sorry, 20 minutes I saved. Next ride, Avengers Flight Force.
Energizing.
C'est mieux. Allez, on avance.
This one was an interesting one. Let me tell you why. I'm going to give you a little tip here. Again, if you want to do these things for free, rope drop. Avengers Campus in the morning, most of those rides were 5-10 minute wait. This is during rope drop in the Marvel Avengers Campus. But obviously, as the day progresses, those wait times did go up. I looked at the time in the morning, and most of these rides were 5-minute queues. If you didn't have a fast pass. Obviously, I went a bit later on. Avengers Flight Force is, think Rock and Roller Coaster meets Iron Man and Captain Marvel. It's very themed to the Avengers, and I was on in 3 minutes. 3. I think I literally walked on to the pre-show, and then the pre-show I was on the ride, and I saved 15 minutes there. Then we had Tower of Terror. Very classic Tower of Terror ride. You don't need me to explain it to you, but you sit in an elevator and you go up and down. You don't know when it's going to come and you don't know when you're going to drop. You're going to have fun. I was on in 11 minutes with the fast pass, and I saved 30 minutes in the queue. Ratatouille, exact copy of the one in Epcot. I was on the ride in 7 minutes, and I saved 43 minutes.
Voilà. Mais oui, that's it.
Oh no. That's a good save. Cars, the Cars ride. This ride, right, I don't know why it's always got a long queue. I'm assuming it's for the little kids, little generation. This is literally just like you know, like when you park at Disney World Florida and you get the tram. Think of a tram ride, but just has a few cars, billboards, statues, animatronic. There's only one good thing in the whole Cars ride. Insert clip here if I can recover my videos. Yeah. I was on the Cars ride in 3 minutes and I saved 17 minutes. It was a 20-minute queue at the time. Basically, that whole ride, it's not worth it. It's only got about 40 seconds of good stuff and the rest of it's boring. Pirates of the Caribbean. I was on in 7 minutes and I saved 33 minutes in line, which is amazing. Hyperspace Mountain. Think Space Mountain, Star Wars themed. That's what it is. It's, in my opinion, a little bit more intense. And it is, I waited and got on the ride in 8 minutes and saved 32 minutes in the queue because it was a 40-minute wait. I got on in 8, saved 32. Cool. Star Tours. Fun fact, this was my first time going on to Star Tours in Disneyland Paris. I would never bother riding this ride, but I really enjoyed it. It is so good. And I was on in 4 minutes and I saved 26 minutes. Very similar to the Star Tours in Florida, simulation sort of feeling, you know, you're on the spacecraft. Yeah, we know. Buzz Lightyear, very similar to the one in Orlando. I was on in 7 minutes and I saved 28 minutes. It was posted 35.
Galactic Alliance, the evil Emperor Zurg.
Small World. Now, I'm going to give a disclaimer to this. This is on the Fast Pass system. Besides rope drop, parade, and fireworks, the queue for Small World normally does average about 15-20 minutes. However, those 3 times that I mentioned, rope drop, parade time, fireworks, you can get on Small World for absolutely free for 5 minutes, probably. Now, by the time I got towards Small World, it was peak parade time. I mean, the parade was coming in about half an hour. I went there peak parade time. There was actually no reason for me to use the Fast Pass. I still did, however. It was a posted 5-minute wait without the Fast Pass. And let's just say I scanned my Fast Pass and I was on the boat. 30 seconds. I saved 4.5 minutes. All I did was save the walk to the boat. Because there's a shortcut that just got me from the gate to the boat directly, whereas the normal queue went round. I think all I did was save that time. Indiana Jones, I was on in 5 minutes and I saved 20. Peter Pan, one of the most famous, busiest rides in Disneyland Paris, very similar to Florida, I got on in 0 minutes because yes, it was a walk-on and I saved 50 minutes. I think that was my biggest save. I was on in 0 minutes and I saved 50. That was the biggest save I had. And again, that was very similar to Small World, where you scan in and you're literally in front of the gate to get on the boat that takes you around. So I saved all that long queue and I was literally on, and I think it did help that I was on my own anyway. Anyway, that was the biggest save, and that is a very popular ride. It consistently stays at 50-75 minutes when you're there. Autopia in Disneyland Paris is basically Tomorrowland Speedway. I was on in 8 minutes and I saved 17. Okay, she's driving and videoing. I don't know how to do this with one hand. I'm not doing really good. And then just before fireworks, so again, very quiet time, Haunted Mansion, which in Paris is called Phantom Manor, was only a 5-minute wait originally without the without the Fast Pass, but because of my Fast Pass, I was on in 0 minutes, so I saved 5. I literally got boarded onto the Doom buggy straight away. Now, I paid €120 for one person to save 7 hours. Now, when you think of it that way, 7 hours is a long time. Now, had I not had this Fast Pass, I actually don't think I would have still queued long, because my priorities, if I wanted to save money, would have been different. What I would have done would have been rope dropped Peter Pan, Crush's Coaster, Ratatouille, and maybe Avengers Flight Force or Hyperspace Mountain. Once those 4 are dropped, the rest of the rides in the day do tend to wait around the 20-30 minute queue. But if I was not bothered about getting the most amazing spot for the parade, I would go on one of the more busier rides maybe about 45 minutes before a parade time or an hour before parade time, because the queues would start dropping, and then go and watch the show, and I would still get a very good spot. It just wouldn't be the best spot. Or like fireworks, if you want to wait for free, you would have to probably get a spot an hour and a half before the show. But what I did on one day was I did a reserve viewing, which was I paid €15 to get a reserve spot at the front, so you're not in the crowd, and I just rocked up to the fireworks 30 minutes before. So that hour I saved, if I rode rides, and all of the rides were 5-minute waits. You can do the same. You know, I'm not saying you don't have to spend the money. You can if you want to. Personally, 7 hours is a lot of time to save. I mean, Peter Pan, 50 minutes I saved. There is no period in Earth where I would ever get on Peter Pan in 0 minutes, even rope dropping it. Maybe 10 minutes at a push, or end of the day 10 minutes. There would be nowhere I would say. So maybe I would buy a single pass for that and spend maybe €5-7 on it instead of spending 90. This is my information. This is all I wanted to tell you. I have to give you the information to make the informed choice. If I could give you advice, my advice would be, don't pay for a full day's fast pass. Instead, maybe prioritize the ride that is the most busiest and the one that you and your family want to do, and buy a single pass for that, or rope drop it for absolutely free. For example, on one of the days as a test bunny, Crush's Coaster, which is one of the most popular rides, consistently at around 75 plus minutes, I rope dropped in 10 minutes without a fast pass, and that was for free. All it meant was I had to sacrifice a little bit of time by waking up a little bit extra early and being near the front of the security line and the first in the park. One of the first in the park. I was literally, I think, 30 or 40 in line for Crush's Coaster, and that's minus the people running. People ran. I walked with purpose. I walked really fast. That's all I did. Just like everyone going to Seven Dwarfs Mine Train in the morning when the line opens. They all run. You don't need to run. I still got on the ride within 10 minutes, but I tell you what, as soon as I got off that ride, it was posted at 75-minute wait. And I was just like, oh my God. Like, and all that meant was I just did my timing, but I didn't pay for that. If I paid for it, it would have only been about €15. So that's up to you. My honest opinion is, go for free and maybe buy single passes if you really want to spend, and that way you can skip the line on your favourite attraction, or go for free and just rope drop it, or go in parade time, go in fireworks time, or go 20 minutes before the park closes, because everyone's going to be watching the fireworks at that point. So yeah, that's my challenge. What do you think? What's your opinion? Disneyland Paris is a lot smaller than people understand. It's very similar to Disney California. However, I'm going to be big disclaimer. World of Frozen and the Lion King Land are coming very, very soon. So I am going to be doing another fast pass when that land opens, just to see how much difference that would make, because maybe the ride queues will change. Maybe those busy rides that have long lines consistently will go down, because everyone and their brother's heading over to Frozen Land to meet Anna and Elsa. We'll soon review it. I'm sure I'll be one of the first people to tell you. Anyway, that's enough from me. I'm talking a lot, as usual. So without further ado, until next time, many hugs. Bye-bye.